Good afternoon, friends. How's everyone doing? Can I get a mic check? Kevin, Lisa, how we doing? Justin? Everybody doing well today? I get to test out my fancy new mic setup today. I actually have a legit mic stand boom thing. I look like I'm trying to do a podcast in here. My daughter has already made fun of me. Sing something? Yeah, you want me to test it out? I'd like to not break the microphone. Efren, that'd be good. Okay, so this is fresh off a discussion in the mentorship room, and it'll be a great topic for today's session. We are going to talk about multi-timeframe analysis and multi-timeframe entries. So entries on a shorter time frame for a longer time frame chart that you like. It is currently 12 noon on November 18th, and that's what this session will be about. So please, I've got the chat open in the corner. Please feel free to ask any questions as we go through. Just make sure to tag me so it does a little ding in my ear, and I can look and see, what your question is about, because sometimes this multi-time frame analysis and possible entries on that, you might have a question that it's better to ask it now as I'm going than it is to wait till the end and then having to go back. So as you've seen from my sessions in the past, if you've ever watched any of them, I have multi-charts going on. Yeah, just like that, with a lot of exclamation points, Mr. Thurston Howell III. Also, feel free to make fun of me, rant, banter. I will ignore you. So, unless it's funny, and then I'll give you props, right? If you're going to rant. So basically what I'm saying is Ryan will get attention. A Trader will be ignored. That's what's going on here. It's basically what I'm saying in a lot more words. Yeah, right. If you're going to go for it, go big, go big or go home. Okay, so you've seen my sessions before. I have a multi-time frame grid, which I'm happy to share with anybody. I'm happy to share. So I've got Discord going over here. I've got the chat in the room. This has a 5-minute chart, a 30-minute chart, a 78-minute chart, a daily chart, and a weekly chart. All right. And then I've got my internals down here, the ticks, the VIX, the ADD. Sounds like it could be part of a song, the ticks, the VIX, the ADD. And as I'm searching through charts, as I'm looking at setups, this is the screen that I like to look at, because I can see what's happening in a really, really quick glance. I've got VP on all of them except the 78, because I don't know why I messed that chart up one day and took VP off of it, but that's fine. I can change one of these other charts. And so this is what I'm scanning for setups on. And usually I like to play the 30-minute TTM squeezes, but you can be looking at anything. I mean, this could be the upper left-hand corner could be a 1-minute chart. And you could be looking for small cap Momo plays, but in that case, for me, I want to see, a 1-minute, a 5-minute, and a daily chart typically if I'm doing that. So having multi time frames up is really important when you're scanning for stocks. So for setups, right? So let's say you have one window open and somebody says, oh, look at Etsy on the 30-minute. Okay, you go to Etsy and then you got to change it to 30-minute. And then you got to get your setup just right. And you say, oh, okay, that looks good. But now I've got to go back, right? So obviously you have to have the screen real estate to have multi-time frames up, but it really makes a big difference, especially as you get better at finding the setups that fit your eye, because you can just pull up a name, look at all these charts, and instantly know whether you like it or you don't like it, right? We've talked about this before. Etsy's in a 30-minute squeeze. We know that because of the scan over here. I can see that I like it. It's a little extended on the 30-minute, right? But I love the daily. I love the weekly. Everything looks really, really good. But when we're using multi-time frames, we can see the chart we want to play. So for instance, let's go to, it's already marked up. Yeah, let's go to Cyber. Okay. I am in Cyber today. And so you see Cyber for me on the 78-minute, 78, 130, 195 is what I like. Yes, I will do that, Kevin. It's what I like. So you pull up, does anybody have a name of something that they like that they're not in right now on a longer time frame chart? I mean, I can still talk about it here, but this is my 78-minute chart on Cyber. I can already see that I like this chart a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it open. I'm going to make my support and resistance measurements. I sometimes will even go in and find my volume profile levels. And then I'm going to start to look for a place to enter. And this is one thing that we talked about in the chat. Yeah, D-Dog, right? Let's do that because I don't have that one marked up. Yeah, D-Dog 78-minute. Okay. It's great. We've got a squeeze. So if I'm looking at this multi-time frame analysis, I've got a lot of lines on here. I apologize. Let me just get rid of those. Make it a little easier here. Clear the drawing set. Yes. Okay. So I've got the 78-minute here. I pull this up. I say, wow, D-Dog looks amazing, right? So I'm gonna pop open the 78, but I'm gonna do it where I have some VP. So I'm gonna pop open the 30 and just change it. But normally you'd have some VP on your chart, right? Well, we're looking at D-Dog right now and thinking, okay, it's near the 8. It's clearly near the major POC volume profile level, but is this a good spot to pick it up, right? And on the 78, it's kind of hard to tell if you're playing true, Nate Bear TTM. Right down in here between the 8 and the 21 is a good entry, right? With a stop below the lower Bollinger Band. But when we start to say, okay, this is a good chart, I would like to be in this chart. Now I would like to figure out where my entries and exits are. So I'm going to put some lines in here where I think, some VP levels might be, right? On the larger time frame chart. Okay. Then I like to look at it on a 5-minute chart. And I like to figure out where those VP levels actually are. This one sits a little bit higher, right? That one looks pretty good down where it is. We've got this POC level right where we're at. Okay, this was a nice suggestion, Larry, because if D-Dog was something I wanted to get into on the 78-minute chart, okay, I would look for an entry down here somewhere off of these lower levels. And to this morning, you could have waited for this double bottom. You see that? And you could have made an entry. I know a couple of people did today off that double bottom. But if you missed it, or you didn't know that that was a good time to take it, would, 10 would, well, I guess that's 8:10 my time. I'm on the West Coast. Would 11:10 have been a good time to get into this name? No, because it's pretty extended, right? Yeah, you're over this POC, but then you've got to start looking. POC is important because it's not going to be the same on every time frame. And so you have to measure this area here. So if I want to look at the 5-minute POC, right? This time frame chart, the furthest I go out is back to, I don't know what date this was. So what I need to do is I need to open up that time frame a little bit more so that I've got all of this data in here, okay? And so the POC does hold up. Does that make sense? So what I'm seeing on my screen, I'm fully backed out. This is giving me volume profile data from the day before this gap up after earnings, and which doesn't matter in this section here, right? And then it's giving me volume profile data, volume price data all the way through this section. And our point of control does line up with this 192.27. So that's good, because when I get closer, that holds up. All right. So we're moving kind of slowly here because I'm trying to keep those details in place. But as I mark up this time frame chart, this is on a 5-minute. I know that I want to get into it on a 78-minute. It's great. I'd love to get into it off this lower level here. You could even come in and make some drawings. You could, you might have a line here, right? This is a VP level. So a lot of times I'll do like some support and resistance with the dotted line, and then I'll come in and I'll do my VPs with the white line like that. You've got a bottom area here at a value area low, right? But if I can get an entry in this, I'm moving too slow. We're going to miss this entry. Sorry, Larry. That was a really good call out, by the way. So I know I want to get in this. I'd love to get into it down low, but I'd also love to take a starter position in it, right? So on the 5-minute, I can see as we were going through that, it would have been a lot quicker. I would have taken my position here, right? I would have taken not a full position personally. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but right here today off of VWAP, market's good. DDOG has moved pretty nicely to start the day, has done some pullbacks. It's come right into POC plus VWAP on the 5-minute, right? That was, as we were talking, that was a great spot to enter on the 78-minute chart. Okay, because on the 78-minute, it was close to the 8 and the 21 POC on a great chart. Now, if you had this in your watch list prior, if you had this in your watch list prior and you saw it come down to here and double bottom today, I missed this entry. This was on my watch list. I missed this gorgeous entry right there. I was doing something else. My daughter had they have to now do these take home COVID tests once a week where they spit into this long tube. Anyway, it took about 10 minutes. It was kind of funny. Don't I want to wait until it comes back to 167? Yeah, if you're a not, you're waiting until it comes back to 167. So my thesis here on an entry to VWAP would be, if this was my trade, I would take half a position here, or a starter position, third of a position. Okay, so let's back out. Let's go out to the 78-minute. Okay, my thesis would be enter half position here. And I'm probably going to measure this pullback. This is a little, let's see if we can get a measurement here. I kind of like that pullback. I wonder if they're the same. Not quite. Okay, so I'm going to kind of measure it there. We pierced the high yesterday, but then we pulled right back. Because I took one here off the 21, the 8 and the 21, POC, VWAP, all those areas, that's a great entry, right? I like that A Trader takes the time to mention that he's out for crunch. If you were really out for crunch, you wouldn't be able to type that, right? I mean, come on, don't hide. Come and play with us. So the point is here, I would take half an entry here, or a third, partial, let's just call it partial entry. For me, it would probably be a half. If this goes, if it moves away and starts towards this high and then the 1272, I've got a position. Okay. If it drifts on me and comes down, if it plays around here and fails and comes down to this support area here, I would add with a stop just below this VP area, and this a break of that lower support line, and then ideally it goes right. If it goes without me, great. I mean, it goes with my half position. Great, I have a half position. I can add on a dip as we develop more VP levels. But you see where this multi-time frame grid, I know there's a lot of lines on here now, and I apologize for that. I'm looking at, let me get rid of that drawing, right? I'm looking here at the 78-minute chart that I like, but I'm looking to my 5-minute chart to find my entry after I've drawn my support levels and my volume profile levels, because I'm not going to find the best entry here on the 78-minute chart. But I am going to be able to watch the 5-minute chart, because I know I want to be in on the 78. I'm going to look for a good entry on the 5-minute chart and then work up the plan. So for instance, does that answer some questions or help explain that? So for instance, the names that I'm in right now, Cyber, you can see here on the center grid. And I did this on purpose because I've had a busy week, and I have not been taking a picture of the chart prior to my entries. But I have been putting a circle in the general area of where I'm taking entries, so I can go back as I journal, and I have some time in the evening. I can do that so that I don't lose track of some of the things that I've done. Yeah, Lisa, I can summarize the steps kind of at the end here. Thank you for bringing that up. So as you can see, I like Cyber. I like Cyber on the I'm in the 130 with Cyber. Yeah, sorry, I am. Yeah, I like Cyber today on this 130. Actually, I liked it yesterday, but today would have also been a great pickup, right? So you see we've got our squeeze, we're rounding, we're starting to round today on our TTM squeeze momentum. We've actually broken up a little bit, but I came in yesterday and I drew these lines. And I drew, this is a volume profile support area, this dotted line at 193.85. Or at least it was yesterday. And I took a position off of that kind of near this lower line, but it looked like it was bouncing. No, I did not bottom ticket. My circle would imply that I did, but I wanted to get in off of this low area. You can see here on the 5-minute. And so I knew I wanted it on the 130, but trying to find an entry on the 130 was going to be way too difficult, right? So I knew, see, here's the VP area I was talking about. You can see this over here. So I tried to get Cyber on a touch of a low or a bounce. See how today's, if you had it on your watch, today's dip to here could have also been a good entry or an add if you were already in it, right? So if I had taken something off of, POC up here at a half position, this would have been a great add spot off that lower support flag line, trend line. Okay, and it's also broken that top end line and come back and somewhat reclaimed, but this is a huge volume profile area here. But I didn't pick that entry off of the 190 with the 130 chart. You can see it because of the wick, right? You can see that here. But if you're just watching the 130 chart, you're not going to see that, right? And you see Donald flip through charts all the time to try and find the right spot, the right spot, the right VP levels, because they change on the different time frames. And so if you're thinking, okay, yes, please, I would like Cyber on the 130 chart. Well, that's going to be a difficult entry. So that's why having multiple, yes, you might pick it up there, but it's easier to see on the 5-minute. Okay. So that's also why names that I'm looking to get in, this is my this is not multi-time frame. These are all 5-minute charts, and they're all names I'm either in or I want to be in that are on my watch list that I've already marked up the chart, and that in the morning, this is the screen that I'm watching most. And you guys know the colors are just buying and selling pressure. That just kind of helps me figure out what's going on the short term on the 5-minute chart, right? So that way I can know, okay, well, so for instance, I'm not in DDOT, right? And I missed this entry today, but it was up on this screen. It was right here on this lower middle screen. And I should have seen this double bottom. But the issue is I hadn't marked up this chart yet. I just had it up. So it was harder for me to take because I didn't know that we were this close to the lower trend line. So I'm also trying to bounce Airbnb. So I took that yesterday into the close. You can see Cyber. I also took an entry on Team today. It's harder to see. I took Team off the point of control and it drifted down to this VP level here. I didn't add, but you can see I took the trade up here, and Google's way back here yesterday. That was Drago was calling that out, so I took some shares on that one. So in summary, to summarize this multi-time frame, both analysis and entries, you want to look at your charts. You want to mark up your charts. You want to look for names on different time frames. if you can, on a multi-time frame chart. I know Larry does this. I know A Trader does this. Obviously, Donald does it. That's kind of the benefit of these multi-time frame charts. And as you get good, right? This is your watch list over here. You can just, oh, I need to change this to a 30. Sorry. And whatever time frames you like should be up. And it's really just as quick as going like flipping through and deciding what you like and seeing if anything hits your radar once you start noticing these charts. FFIV, wow, that is a strong name right now. And depending on what you play too, do you play a TTM? Do you play chart plays? And that they start popping out to you, like KLAC. No, which one was it? Oh, IVV, which I probably wouldn't play, but I mean, immediately this 78-minute chart pops out to my eye, right? This is Donald's favorite play, right? This is the ascending triangle flat top break third test, right? 1, 2, potential for 3, right? And those just kind of jump out. And then, okay, great. Let's look at what that looks like on a 5-minute chart. Let's say we were going to play this. Okay, well, if you had this on your chart previous, what a great entry would have happened on this dip this morning, right? And as Donald says, you know, generally we're going to push through that level there. So let me see if I can back this out just a little bit. Yeah, so the high, so we were close, and that line isn't even straight. That's hilarious. But you get the idea. I'm drawing them fast. Let's see if I can straighten that line out. Right? So that comes a lot closer to that tap. So you got your 1, 2, now you're moving up towards 3 and break. But that's the benefit of being able to have these multi-time frames up, because then you just see them as you go through your charts. As you flip through the charts, you can just see, oh, I like that one. Or you can look at it on the 30-minute and go, well, it's not great on the 30-minute, but that structure is probably going to look great on the 78-minute or the 130-minute because it's long. Which one is that? I mean, which one's like that? D-Dog? Yeah, D-Dog here. If we clear our drawing set, right? If I'm looking at this on the 30-minute, yeah, it's got a squeeze on the 30-minute. And, you know, it's rounding and it looks pretty good. But this is just kind of a lot of chatter. Even here on the 78, it's a lot of chatter. But you can kind of guess that this is going to start looking really good. You know, 78, 130, right? Maybe even 195. But it doesn't have to be. You know, you don't have to. You can just see what's there. And also these, I have these multi-time frame grid boxes that just kind of tell me where squeezes are on that chart. So that's also pretty helpful. You can see this 30, 60, 2-hour nested squeeze. Jay, that statement that you just put into chat can stand on its own. Ryan, you're slow. I like that. And then you're marking up your charts and taking your entries on a smaller time frame, so that you know you're getting a good entry and you know where your stop levels are. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions about that? I saw a couple of questions that I may have missed. Lisa, did I summarize that okay? Did that answer all questions? The more you do it, the better you'll get at it, and you'll get entries that you feel really good about, or you'll take a starter and add to it at a great spot. And and it feels really good. And then you start seeing the market more and kind of understanding how you size into some of these trades. And when you see, Larry or Anant doing a TTM type trade and they don't stop out when you do and it comes back, it's because they're looking at it on a smaller time frame and can see VP levels, resistance levels, support levels, and they're just being patient with it versus just seeing that it's below a level on a large time frame and just stopping out, right? So that's why having a multi-time frame grid really, really helps in identifying good setups quickly and then also finding the entry. So the D-Dog was great. It's actually come back into that volume profile area, right? So as we were talking, Larry called that out, and on the 5 minute, as you can see, it had already started to move, but right when he called it out, it was coming into VWAP on the 5 minute and this massive POC volume profile level. It's tested, it's bounced, it's testing it again, and it looks like it kind of wants to push through there. But we did mark that up. So there are some lower levels. If this continues to drift a little bit, you might be able to get a better entry. But overall, and then don't watch it on the 5 minute because that's going to drive yourself crazy. Make sure you know your levels, right? Make sure you know where you want to stop out, right? And what's safe and what's not on the larger time frame chart, so that when you're watching the lower time frame chart, you're not freaking out. So that's all right, Lisa. I frequently type things in here that make absolutely no sense because I'm trying to type fast and trade. So everybody having a good day today? It is ChopX, and I'm just trying to stay out of my own way this week. The last 2 days previous, Tuesday and Wednesday, I was not seeing the market well. Things I was long in were drifting. Things I was short in were running. It's just one of those. And I was just stopping out. It was just one of those days. So I'm playing it real easy. I'm also really busy with life and work. So it's not a good time for me to have to sit in front of the screen all day, which is why I should not be putting on a lot of size, which I'm not, which is good. So Eric, I'm glad. I'm glad. That's perfect. And those are the kinds of things that, a quick training like this, I'm on Tuesday and Thursday at this time at noon. And a lot of times I'll just jump in and I'll talk about what I'm in at the moment. And then I don't really have a topic to talk about. So this was great. It was nice to have a good topic that I know well, that I can talk about. So I appreciate you asking the question. All right, gang, I'm gonna to use an LL phrase. All right, gang, I'm out of here. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask them in chat, and I will try to stay with it and answer any questions that you may have. Talk to you later.